Football Queensland's coverage is brought to you by FFA, Australia's only national football-specific coaching conference, 25th and 26th of May on the Gold Coast. Get your delegate pass today at ifcca.com.au. Play football. Join the team today. Visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club. Football Foundation, making football more accessible for every income, every gender, every ability, every background, every Indigenous Queenslander. Donate today.
Good ball, near post again for Solorzano this time.
It's a bit of ping pong, it's ball for Edgar. Edgar shoots, Edgar scores.
Second bite of the cherry with another cross pretty much into the same area, and the ball has crossed the net.
And that looked really awkward for the goalkeeper.
He's away to the races, he shoots, he scores. Another piece of the finish from Fox.
Well, we're in the shadow of the glitter strip here on the Gold Coast. And we have got some fantastic FFA Cup action in store for you today. Surfers Paradise Apollo of the Gold Coast Premier League taking on National Premier League Queensland side Olympic. And it's a battle of the two teams with Greek heritage, a healthy crowd in attendance as well here at Lex Bell Oval. And it looks like the teams are just about to get ready and come onto the field. Simon Smale with you on the call today, and would like to thank our sponsors for getting us here. Surfers Paradise Apollo in particular would like to thank the Coffee Club and Lucy Cole, whereas Olympic would also like to thank the Coffee Club, a shared sponsor list, a shared heritage. There's a lot shared between these two teams, not least former Player of the Year for Surfers Paradise Apollo, now suiting up in the red and white for Olympic, Jean-Philippe Lassam. A quick reminder to check out the Football Queensland website as the two teams make their way onto the field, led by our Total Tools referee Oleg Labuz. He's going to be assisted by Mackenzie James, Daniel Isaac on the flanks, and Alexander Rusu is going to be joining me here on the sideline. We are in very close proximity to the two benches. In fact, when it starts raining, I'm going to join the Olympic boys underneath their shade. In auspicious weather, it has to be said, the clouds are gathering in from the coast. They do look threatening, but it could potentially be a very auspicious day for Gold Coast football. It was a disappointing one for football supporters on the Gold Coast last night. A real shock. Brisbane Strikers getting over Gold Coast Knights 5-1. Jaden Prasad gave the Knights the lead, and then from that point on, it was all Brisbane Strikers. McLean, Hengeli, Hills, and Zach Maltby getting 2 at the end. Jared Kyle being sent off, a second yellow card for dissent there at the Croatian Sports Centre, just a stone's throw away from here. All the clubs on the Gold Coast in close proximity. And then later on today, Coomera are taking on Logan Lightning down at Viney Park, just up the road at Dreamworld. But we'll keep our attention here at Lex Bell Oval. Surfers Paradise Apollo against Olympic. The home side, we will line up as thus. Tim Warren in goal, and in front of him, Dylan Barwick. Number 4, Nick Hume. Number 5, Robbie Smith. Number 6, Cody Walden. Number 8, Chris Broadfoot. Number 10, Teddy Watson. Number 12, Daniel Dragesevich. Number 13, Lucas Lefebvre. Number 14, the captain, Bruno Rodriguez. And number 16, Seb Buckingham on the bench. Brandon Gomez, Adam Cross, Zach Kalinkalos, Calvin McCallion and Marko Jovicic. Olympic will line up in fashion that we've become accustomed to. In goal is Brandon Kumineo. In front of him, number 2, Jack Glover. Number 4, Christian Waters. Number 5, Steve White. Number 7, Shelford Deas. Number 9, Chris Lucas. Number 11, Jez Lofthouse. Number 10, Alex Smith. Number 19, Philippe Lassam. Number 22, James Kumineo, and number 29, Matt Mundy, the substitutes for Olympic. Number 8, Kazuya Ito. Number 17, Danny Driver. Number 12, Costa Saros. And number 15, UL Scholl. Reserve goalkeeper is Dakota Sprang. Alex Morrison, the coach for Surfers Paradise Apollo, led his side to second spot at the halfway point of the Gold Coast Premier League, just 2 points behind leaders Burleigh, who they inflicted their first defeat upon just a couple of weeks ago. 3-0 as well here at Lex Bell Oval, so very impressive result that. Olympics coach Ben Khan, well, he's actually watching from an airport in Korea. He's been in Korea on his pro licence, so he is leaving it to the assistants to make sure that his side get through to the round of 32, a place where they have found themselves twice before. In 2014 when they made it to the round of 16, and they were beaten by eventual semi-finalists Central Coast Mariners at Cusack, and then last year of course in that controversial match at Lions Stadium where they were defeated in the last minute by Lions in the round of 32. Looks like it'll be the visitors who'll get things underway for us. Chris Lucas in the red and white stripes and the number 9 shirt. Olympic will be kicking from left to right. We could reach out and touch the players. Shelford Dias just in front of us here. Crowd has built up for this early kickoff. And we are just in the hands of referee Oleg Labuz. He appears to be ready. Olympic supporters are away to our left as well. And we are underway here at Lex Bell Oval in the FFA Cup. And it is Shelford Dias who has an early touch. Here's captain Steve White. He'll switch play all the way over to the far side, and the ever-exciting Jez Lofthouse, who has been afforded a lot of space early. Chooses not to use it, the ability that he often does in the National Premier League's Queensland. Ball is back at the feet of Jean-Philippe Lassam, a player who is no stranger to these parts. Dias forced to check. It's a good defence from Surfers Paradise Apollo on the back foot early. Glover. Heavy touch from Mundy, but it finds itself over to Jez Lofthouse. Little push. Welcome back to the Gold Coast for Jean-Philippe Lassam. Great movement out ahead to Steve White. White back to Lassam. He's closed down quickly. Does well. He's helped out by his captain. You don't expect Jean-Philippe Lassam is going to get any favours on his return to his former home ground. Lofthouse just gets a touch on that, but it's the first spell of possession here for Surfers Paradise Apollo, and they'll look to launch it forward early towards Teddy Watson. Teddy Watson, who scored 10 goals in this FFA Cup run so far. He scored 2 last week against Palm Beach. He's in the running for the Tony Secco Award here for the Gold Coast Player of the Year, hoping to emulate his former teammate, who's just used a little bit of physicality to get Dylan Barwick off the ball. Is a throw-in for Olympic, no foul. And White, lots of space. He'll chip forward towards Lucas. Lucas has so much pace, can't leave him alone for too long. Up against Lefebvre, the cross wasn't the best. It's headed out for an attacking throw for Olympic. It's taken quickly by White. Dias back to White. White cut back inside onto his left foot. Crossfield to Mundy, sloppy from Mundy, but Lofthouse has possession. White. Dias does well to evade the attentions of Barwick. Here's Watson. Watson up against Waters. Waters has good support from Steve White, but Waters didn't need him and just slightly overrun from Teddy White, but Teddy Watson, apologies, but some good early signs from Surfers Paradise Apollo striker. Leads the league with 16 goals in 11 appearances. Jean-Philippe Lassam twisting and turning, gets a little bit of a touch. Play on is the call. Here's Dias on this near side, twisting and turning up against Barwick. Oh, that's brilliant from Dias. Barwick lets out a scream of frustration, but Dias overran it. It'll be a goal kick. Just shows how dangerous Shelford Dias can be on his day. The former Central Coast Mariner, former Brisbane Roar youth player as well. We are in very close proximity to the benches, so we do apologise for any language that you might hear. A lot of feeling, a lot at stake here in the FFA Cup. 7th qualification round. The winner of this game could get a lucrative tie against an A-League opponent in the coming weeks. The draw will be live on Fox Sports. The winner of this game will be eagerly anticipating who they might get, as will Brisbane Strikers, who got past Gold Coast Knights so emphatically last night. A real surprise result based on league table, but Strikers really have performed brilliantly in getting back into form now through the FA Cup, it has to be said. Here's Watson, though. His pass towards Deas, and Deas has had some rough treatment so far. Are we going to see a yellow card this early? We are. It's Cody Walden who is shown that first card. Alex Morrison pressing his case to Rusu Alexandru on the sideline here. Alex Morrison still not seeing the funny side of the card being given to Cody Walden. It's perhaps an early warning from Oleg Labuz that any rough treatment isn't going to be tolerated, and it has to be said that Jean-Philippe Lassam has had a couple of rough tackles early, just leaving their mark on him, his former teammates. Link-up play was good, but again, Lassam is in there, I think. It looked like Teddy Watson was offside. The flag is up belatedly. A yard or so offside. Bit of a discussion going on there between Jack Glover. Heavy touch from Lassam, that was sloppy. Buckingham goes flying in the air. Alex Morrison's blowing up Deluxe to our right. Here's Steve White. Lofthouse cuts back inside. That's when the warning klaxons start sounding, often for defensive teams, but that was well dealt with by the Surfers Paradise Apollo side. And here is Watson again. He goes back towards Bruno Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is forced all the way back to Tim Warren, who I've been told is in career best form in his second stint at the club. There's a neat touch from Barwick. That's a poor pass forward, and here's an opportunity now for Alex Smith. He scored a wonderful goal in the last round of this competition, which you would have seen on social media, of course. Smith goes round Barwick brilliantly. The cross goes across the face of goal. There's no one there in a red and white shirt to deal with it. There wasn't anyone in a blue and white shirt either. And it goes all the way through to the far side of Mundy, and he'll build an attack now through Jez Lofthouse. Lofthouse goes back to Kumineo, and Kumineo back to Glover. Waters. Deas has space. Olympic just prizing apart Surfers Paradise Apollo in these early stages, but it is still goalless. Lofthouse has space. You don't want to afford him too much of that. Dragesevic is lining up against him. Lofthouse with the twisting and the turning just over the head of Chris Lucas. It's still there for Deas. Deas' pass towards Lucas could only find Bruno Rodriguez, and Rodriguez hammers the ball upfield towards Teddy Watson. Is that a little limp from Teddy Watson? No, it's just a little shuffle to get past Jean-Philippe Lassam. The Olympic supporters are away to our right, creating a good amount of atmosphere. Flicked on by Buckingham. That was not a good pass forward. Walden. Lofthouse picks up the loose pass though, and Olympic will break down the far side with Kumineo. Kumineo and Glover just linking up over on that far side. Olympic are missing, of course, Zelfi Nazari today. He's away on international duty with Afghanistan. They drew 1-1 with Tajikistan last night, so congratulations to Zelfi Nazari. Didn't get on the score sheet. Former West Australian man, played with Balcatta over in the West Australian NPL. Forging an international career. Nazari in Tajikistan, Ben Khan in Korea. It's a truly international flavour for Olympic. Here's Tim Warren launching this ball upfield. Barwick has space on this near side. Again, good control from Barwick. Flicks it back inside, and it's hooked forward for Watson to chase. It was easily dealt with by Waters. The game plan pretty evident in these early stages. Get the ball up towards Teddy Watson and see what he can do. That was sloppy from Lassam. An opportunity now, the through ball from Buckingham, just not able to find its mark. And Rodriguez was up there as well, as was Broadfoot. Hasn't scored yet this season in the Cup, but did score the 8-1 league win over Tweed United. So can find the back of the net, and that was a solid challenge from Dragicevic, the former Gold Coast Knight, 30 years old. Won the league with Gold Coast Knights here last season, an undefeated season until the second chance final, which Broadbeach United did beat Gold Coast Knights. It's the only defeat they suffered last season other than in the Cup. Olympic just not on the same wavelength on that occasion. Shelford Deas and Chris Lucas. Lucas stopping his run and Deas persisting with the pass. Taking his time over these goal kicks is Tim Warren. Wants to make sure he gets them right, and he gets that one just up towards halfway. Waldron battled with White. White came out on top. Something for Lucas to chase, perhaps. The further was there. Lucas has won a corner kick, though. No. He was adamant, the former Bentley Green. But it has gone the way of the home side, that decision. And there's still a furtive glance towards the assistant on this near side from Chris Lucas. Another player familiar to the Gold Coast. He won the National Premier League's Queensland title in 2014 with Palm Beach. The artists who then went on to be known as Gold Coast City. Well leapt from White. He's going to have another opportunity. Good battle developing there between White and Waldron. Rodriguez out wide to Watson. Dragicevic on the overlap, back to Watson. Watson back inside to Waldron. Waldron goes down. Oh, and that was nasty from Cody Waldron. That was nasty from Waldron. Some discussion going on between the two substitute benches. Cody Waldron has been told no more. Cody Waldron has been told no more. The benches have been told no more. There's a bit of a discussion going on between Robbie Smith and the Olympic players as well from the centre-back. The Olympic bench are very unhappy. You might be able to hear on the sound effects, Mike, over the fact that the studs were showing, and they were showing, it has to be said, from Cody Waldron. A little bit scrappy on the edge of the Olympic penalty area there. Seb Buckingham is just trying to press his case. And he's still pressing his case towards referee Oleg Labuz. Olympic get play underway. Smith unable to jump under the attentions of Nick Hume. Nick Hume scored the winner last week in that 3-2 victory over Palm Beach. Dramatic victory here at Lexbell Oval. That's a beautiful pass from Zari and from Lassam, apologies, and it was offside against Steve White. Alex Morrison is still continuing his discussion, and it has to be said it's rather one way with the Olympic bench now. They've settled down the visiting bench. Alex Morrison is continuing to pace around his technical area. Barwick. He's continued his run there, did Chris Broadfoot. Into Jean-Philippe Lassam, perhaps unnecessarily. There will be niggle in this one. Surfs Paradise Apollo hoping perhaps to unsettle their National Premier League host. Lofthouse over the top. Gets in behind Dragicevic. Cuts the ball inside towards Lucas. And it's gone behind for a corner. Just enough time to remind you that the Aldi Mini-Roos kickoff, in a nutshell, is an introductory programme for children aged between 4 and 9 years old. And each weekly 45-minute game-based activity means that each child receives an Aldi Mini-Roos participant pack. And you get a boot bag, a football, water bottle and a sticker sheet. Excellent stuff there from the Aldi Mini-Roos campaign. See fields covered in kids all over the state, and indeed all over the country, chasing their little mini footballs around. It's great to see. Waters' header far over the crossbar. And once again, Warren hits the goal kick. He aims it again towards Barwick. Barwick jumps and tries to get a piggyback over White. Deas to Waters. To Deas. Deas inside to White, but White is a little sloppy in possession. It's picked off quite comfortably by Buckingham. Back to Warren, and Warren had to stretch because Smith was there. Philippe Lassam leaps high. Smith's going to poach on this one, and he does poach on it. Lucas is offside, and he just strayed. Alex Smith can't believe it. It will be a free kick to Surfers Paradise Apollo, and just saw there just how much of a poacher Alex Smith is. Former Wellington Phoenix player. Been around for traps, says Alex Smith, the 33-year-old. Here's Teddy. Neat ball forward towards Buckingham. Buckingham inside. It's dealt with very well by Jack Glover. Nothing fancy, just got rid of the ball. And it'll be a throw-in for Surfers Paradise Apollo. Barwick will take it. Watson had to stretch. Buckingham, apologies, had to stretch. He got rid of that. Lucas with a neat little touch to White. Lucas has continued his run. Smith sees it now from the inside pass by White. Never finds its way through to him, though, but that's pretty good intervention by Matt Mundy, just letting his opponent know that he was there. The ball finds its way over to that far side, and James Kumineo. Touch for the commentator. It was a bad touch. I'm not saying it wasn't. Would be a throw-in on this near side by Dylan Barwick. Teddy Watson does well. Was he fouled? He was. Alex Morrison asking whether that was a booking. Has an interesting interpretation of what constitutes a yellow card. Alex Morrison, it appears. Free kick for Surfers Paradise Apollo. It'll be Seb Buckingham standing over it. Teddy Watson's near post that goes right into the head of Steve White. Steve White looks a little bit flustered, but is okay to continue. Rodriguez, neat pass to Buckingham. Buckingham gets a deflected cross in. Awkward one to deal with. Kristen Waters does well. Deas can't keep that one in. A little bit scrappy at the back from Olympic. I have added to their defensive stocks, Olympic, in recent weeks. Eric Panzer, he's cup-tied, so he's unable to be here today, and that's excellent work from Steve White, showing no ill effects from that free kick that was firmly struck to the side of his head. See if he can shake it off. Ambitious leap from Broadfoot. Here's Lofthouse. Lovely touch from Bruno Rodriguez just to take the ball away from Lofthouse there. Here's Hume. Hume towards Teddy Watson. It was far too far ahead of him. White to Deas. Deas to Waters. Back to Kumineo. Kumineo will switch to James Kumineo from Brandon. Mundy. Closed down quickly and effectively by Buckingham. Here's an Olympic throw, but that was good work from the central midfielder from Surfers Paradise Apollo. That little turn got A little murmur of appreciation away to our left in the Olympic dugout. Waters felt that one from Broadfoot. And a free kick is given belatedly, just for leaving the foot in, I think. Nothing more than a free kick. Christian Waters, it has to be said, did let the referee know that he'd been contacted. Take more than that to show any irritation from Christian Waters. Typical centre-back, very hard and battle-hardened, it's safe to say. Here he is now. Dias is in front of him. The slide came in again from Broadfoot. Neat little footwork from Steve White. Dias, apologies, can't get that ball through towards Chris Lucas though. Teddy Watson and Jack Glover come into contact, but here's Alex Smith. Smith, lovely switched pass over to this near side for Shelford Dias. Dias twisting and turning, gets to the byline, can't get the ball past Cody Waldron though. And that's a corner kick for Olympic. Still 0-0 here in the FFA Cup, 7th qualification round. Surfers Paradise Apollo the hosts against the National Premier League side Olympic FC. Midway through this first half. Swept in brilliantly. Glover was there. Having a lot more to do with the ball than I normally do when I'm commentating these matches, standing just to the edge of the Olympic technical area. Ball's back at the feet of Tim Warren in the Surfers Paradise Apollo goal. Half-hearted attempt from Lucas to close him down. It's hammered upfield onto the head of James Kuminao. He puts it back in towards White. White over the top now. Oh, Lucas, the flying effort. Is it going to be kept in? It is by Warren. A long look from the assistant on this near side. Warren with a wry smile on his face. He had to scramble, and had to scramble quickly. He did very well, the keeper. He launches this one upfield. How's that for a battle between Teddy Watson and Christian Waters? I think we'll call that one a draw. Waters on the ball. It's out, wasn't kept in. And it's probably for the best in terms of Olympics perspective, because the sliding attempt from Steve White played the ball straight to the feet of Teddy Watson. He had a little bit of space. Surfers Paradise leading goal scorer. Broadfoot with the attempted flick, but it's Olympic who come up with possession now. It's a bad pass from Smith towards Lofthouse. Lofthouse goes back to Kuminao. Kuminao may want to switch play to Dias on this near side, but he's closed down quickly and is unable to do so. Broadfoot can't make the most of it though. It was good closing down by Bruno Rodriguez. He's been a real dynamo in the midfield for Surfers Paradise Apollo in the first quarter of this match. Olympic have had the lion's share of possession though. It is still goalless. Dias. To Waters. White. Coming to claim possession. Lucas. Heavy touch from the heavy pass by White. Flicked over the top in the general direction of Watson. At the feet of Jean-Philippe Lassam. He'll crab across field. Lofthouse has space on that near side, although he is being shadowed by Dragesevic. It was a good choice from Lassam to play the ball back to James Kuminao instead. Kuminao then tried to relay that forward towards Jez Lofthouse. Couldn't quite get the ball under control. Surfers Paradise Apollo 0, Olympic 0. Broadfoot couldn't get onto that, and then Lofthouse couldn't do likewise. Rodriguez went round in a circle, eventually found a teammate, Dragesevic. It's hammered upfield towards Teddy Watson. Flag goes up because Watson was offside, coming back from that offside position. And we'll go all the way back for the free kick. Surfers Paradise Apollo's players seem a little bit bemused by that decision. Olympic get things back underway. Glover to Deus. Lovely control from Deus. Deus inside to Smith. Smith lets the ball do the work as he does so very, very well for this Olympic side. Now Lofthouse on the overlap. Lofthouse with the left-footed cross. It's aimed towards Lucas. Lucas comes away with it somehow, getting the better of Robbie Smith. Steve White. Olympic are forced to go all the way back and they'll continue to build. Glover goes back to Mundy. Sorry, it's White over on that far side. Mundy's in the middle, wanting the ball. Doesn't get it. Lofthouse was just shepherded off the ball by Dragicevic. The 30-year-old has had Jez Lofthouse in his pocket so far today. Long, long way to go yet, though. Smith does well to hold that ball up. White over towards Waters. Deus. Sam. Glover to Mundy. Been quiet so far, Mundy. Kumineo. Glover. Lofthouse has space all of a sudden. Dragicevic is there. But it's a really good tackle from Bruno Rodriguez. Mundy did well to just stop Rodriguez from going forward, but that was good football all round there. Olympic just struggling to find their way through this dogged Surfers Paradise Apollo defence. No real clear-cut chances at all from either side yet. Will one come now through Teddy? Just slightly overran that, and then Glover used his body well, didn't deviate his line, so no obstruction. Deus. Cagey stuff in this FFA Cup tie so far. Just the clouds swirl behind us, ominously. Our Olympic building ominously here. Deus just takes the touch past Walden, who will need to be careful. He's had a yellow card and then a very stern warning for a late challenge on this man here, Jean-Philippe Lassam. Lassam rides that challenge from Broadfoot. Play on, the shot! We just whistled past the post. Is it a corner? Alex Smith is screaming for one, begging our Total Tools referee Oleg Labuz that goalkeeper Tim Warren got a touch. Tim Warren might want to say he got a touch as well, because if he did, it was a fantastic save. That was the first real sighter that Olympic have had, and it was a long-range one from Alex Smith. They have dominated proceedings, though. White to Mundy. Kumineo had to check. It's back at the feet of Mundy. Lofthouse just made a furtive run. Just threatening ever so slightly. He's closed down by Buckingham now when he does get the ball. Mundy. Back to Kumineo. Mundy. Lofthouse is inside him. Instead he'll go back to White. Now Lofthouse. Neat one-touch football from Olympic. When they get this right, they are very, very threatening. Here's Steve White. Goal kick. Just a reminder that every single game of the National Premier League's Queensland competition is live streamed by Football Queensland. A huge boost to football fans around the state and indeed around the country based on some of our comments. That's a really poor goal kick. We'll come back to that. Olympic just lacking the composure. Lack of composure all round really there. There'll be a match of a round every week. Make sure you check out footballqueensland.com.au for all the details of that, because you also get a match of a round for the National Premier League's women's competition. As Deus goes round the outside, Deus stays to his feet and squeezes that ball through for the opening goal. There was no room for Shelford Deus to do that, but he still managed to squeeze the ball in. It's his second goal of the season. Third goal of the season, apologies. And Olympic have the lead here. Excellent work from Shelford Deus. He just got round the inside of the defender. There was no room to work with at all. And Olympics' dominance with the ball at their feet has finally paid off, and it's that man Shelford Dias who has made the breakthrough here. Legs bell oval, and Alex Smith is hoping to strike while the iron's hot. Here is Smith. Smith goes down, and he is told to get to his feet. It certainly looked like there was a collision over on that far side. Alex Smith can't believe it. The ball is still in play, though, and at the feet of the goal scorer, Shelford Dias. Can he make it 2 in as many minutes? He's going to try the same trick twice. He squeezes it in, and it came off the foot of Lucas Lefebvre back towards Dias. It's at the feet of White now. White looking for an option. That option is Mundy. Mundy's going to shape to shoot here. It was a bobbling effort towards Tim Warren, who dealt with it comfortably. Surfers Paradise Apollo need to start taking the initiative. Lofthouse chased down Daniel Dragesevic well there, and it'll be a goal kick for Olympic. Roles reversed in this first half, or in that moment of the first half. Dragesevic has been doggedly following Jez Lofthouse in his defensive duties. When he tried to get forward there, he found that it's not quite as easy to shake a shadow once you've attached yourself to one. Brandon Kumineo launches this one forward. Well over halfway. Smallish pitch here at Lexbell Oval. Smith leapt highest, and then Lofthouse chased down. I think it's an Apollo throw, it is, as signalled by Oleg Labuz. As already mentioned, if you have just joined us, Ben Khan not on the sideline for Olympic. Standing away to my left is instead Jimmy Getalotis, the assistant coach, and that'll be because Ben Khan is in Korea doing his pro licence. He was at the Socceroos match yesterday, that 1-0 defeat against South Korea. In what sounded like an incredibly high-pitched atmosphere, it has to be said, in Korea. 90% full that stadium for that end-of-season friendly. Lofthouse, lovely touch, but is dispossessed pretty quickly, and an opportunity now for Broadfoot to take the ball forward. It's an early ball forward towards Teddy Watson, but the balls forward have not been accurate enough from Surfers Paradise Apollo so far, so when they have had possession, they've turned it over very quickly to either one of Jack Glover or Christian Waters. Mundy's gone wide to James Kumineo. Kumineo's launched this one forward to Lofthouse, who's got in behind here. Lofthouse wants an option. He's going to cut back. Lucas skies that one well over the bar and lands it on top of a roof of a car for safekeeping as well. Disappointing way for that move to end. As soon as Jez Lofthouse gets more than an inch of space from Daniel Dragesevic. He's free and away if he can be picked out by one of his teammates, and that's exactly what happened there. White jumped high, early and well, managed to win possession. Lassam definitely got caught there by Buckingham. That was an awkward one. It's an awkward one for Jean-Philippe Lassam. Can be really nasty when you're caught like that on the Achilles tendon. He's copped some treatment on his return to the Gold Coast as Jean-Philippe Lassam. Just limping away. He actually just got a little bit of a friendly word, it looked like, from Chris Broadfoot there. Dias. White. How updated the wooden scoreboard here. Dias does really well against Broadfoot. And then Steve White goes down. It's clumsy more than anything from Chris Broadfoot, I think. Another unpleasant one, though, for Olympic. Steve White this time on the receiving end of some rough treatment. How can Olympic capitalise on this situation here? Steve White will swing this one in. It's such an awkward one for Tim Warren to deal with. Steve White swings it in towards the back post. Who was that arriving? It was James Kumineo, I think. Has scored in the Cup already this season. And last time he scored in the league was down here on the Gold Coast against Gold Coast United at Talabudgera. That was a headed goal as well, and he really threw himself at that one, did the Olympic left back. Glover jumps high against the giant Chris Broadfoot. Lofthouse was chasing but couldn't get past Robbie Smith, who heads back to his keeper. Apollo play away quickly. Here's Dragosevic. Dragosevic is going to have another go, and it was a foul from Lofthouse. He did put his hands out. The young winger frustrated that Dragosevic, who does have some pace when he gets his wheels turning, was just able to get past him, and that frustrated the youngster. Silly foul to give away. Sloppy from Olympic. Rodriguez has space. It's closed down though by Matt Mundy. It will be a corner, and now plenty of tall figures in this Surfers Paradise Apollo side. What can they do from this set piece? Quite well matched at the back though, to be honest. Broadfoot being shadowed by Kumineo at the moment. Christian Waters has Teddy Watson. Oh, the header was a free one at the back post by Lefebvre. He's a fine header of the ball, so I'm told. He couldn't make contact on that occasion, and have to say, that's a let-off. A call from one of the Surfers Paradise Apollo players was, we're not going to get another golden chance like that. A lot of football still to be played, but you can't help but feel you might be right. You don't get many free headers from this Olympic defence. Smith and White went for the same ball. Neither of them got it. Teddy Watson trying to attempt at that one. Is that a handball from Dylan Barwick? I was unsighted, I have to admit, but Chris Lucas was fairly convinced. Decent ball from Tim Warren, turning defence into attack. How's that? Over the top towards Lofthouse. Lofthouse is being shadowed by Rodriguez. And eventually Dragosevic comes back to help out as well. And between the pair of them, they managed to halt Jez Lofthouse's progress. The drum continues to beat for Olympic. They have been dictating the tempo of this game in the FFA Cup so far. Alex Smith. Defender positioned himself quite well to avoid a snapshot from Smith there, but here's Walden. Walden does well, then can't find that final pass. Belatedly arriving was Chris Broadfoot. But not quite heads-up football being played there by Surfers Paradise Apollo. Here's Waters, has space to operate in. Flicks that one over the top towards Lucas, but it was well defended. Dias came flying in there and then flew in again on Buckingham. Oh, it's nice from Lucas, but really good defence from Barwick. It's Lucas on the ball, though it was stopped just by Bruno Rodriguez. Rodriguez had to be ready there and did really, really well. Lucas coming back into his own defensive half to make that challenge. Dias goes to Deck, and Dias wins the free kick, much to the frustration of Buckingham, who jumps up in the air and has a little tantrum before just flicking that ball away. He'll get a word of warning from Oleg Labuz. Morrison, the Surfers Paradise Apollo coach, has a grin on his face. I doubt he's seen the funny side, though, based on what we've seen so far. White sweeps this one in. It was aimed towards Smith. Kumineo flicks it through towards Mundy. Back to Kumineo. Kumineo's going to have a snapshot. It went through a maze of bodies. Just unable to get through, though. And here comes Dragosevic. Dragosevic has wheels. Flicks that one over the top. Broadfoot is arriving. Broadfoot gets hold of the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Waters was caught unawares, but eventually recovered, and Olympic will break away with the assistance of Oleg Labuz, who got a brief touch there, the referee. Dragocevic has suddenly burst into life in these last 5 minutes or so, getting the better of Lofthouse in a defensive role. Slides in there though, good work, really good work from Philippe Lassam. And he plays the ball forward towards Alex Smith, and Smith's link-up play is so good. Shelford Dias through towards Lucas. It was an ambitious effort. Lucas uses his body to make that challenge on Dylan Barwick. It is a Olympic ball. Some discussion there. And some discussion still going on between the fourth official, who is really just a sounding board for the coaches. You feel more and more sorry for fourth officials every time you see them. There's not a lot they can do to at least adjust any of the decisions that get made. I guess they're acting as a conduit between the benches and the referees on field. Conduit that takes plenty of punishment. Lovely passing between Smith and Mundy. Lucas was dispossessed. Smith and Mundy has given away the free kick, I think, but it wasn't Mundy, it was Lucas who's down, who must have given away the free kick, and he is writhing around on the floor in a little bit of discomfort at the moment as we approach the half-time break. Chris Lucas has 24 goals in all competitions so far this season, including 5 in the FFA Cup, 19 from 15 appearances in the National Premier League's Queensland. He's still limping away though, we'll keep our eye on that. Good for him that half-time is approaching. Mundy does well just to dispossess Bruno Rodriguez. Apollo still have possession. It was well watched by Jack Glover, and Glover does well to get that ball out, but Olympic on the attack again now. Here's Jez Lofthouse. Lofthouse has suddenly got his skates on. Lofthouse skips past one challenge. Can't get past the attentions of Robbie Smith, though. Former Gold Coast Knight as well. It's his first season here at Surfers Paradise Apollo. How's that for a pass, and how's that for a touch from Shelford Dias? Dias to Smith. Smith with space. Smith twisting and turning. He's closed down though fairly quickly. Lucas showing no ill effect, although not quite as sharp as he was before perhaps, in being dispossessed there, and Surfers Paradise Apollo will break through Buckingham. Buckingham tried to get the ball forward towards Watson, and Watson, Buckingham and Lassam got in a bit of bother over on that far side. Watson couldn't keep possession though, and Olympic have it. Dias, White, switches play over towards James Kumineo. Kumineo has Lofthouse from a standing start. He's just as deadly in those positions. Dias has gone all the way over to that far side, but his pass forward towards Lofthouse is intercepted, and here's Chris Broadfoot. Broadfoot gets past Smith. Does Smith foul him there? No foul, says Oleg Buzz. Dias, White. Play continues, as do the discussions between the fourth official and Alex Morrison on the Surfers Paradise Apollo bench as we approach half-time. James Kumineo, Lofthouse, back to Kumineo. Kumineo inside to White, his captain. White goes inside to Mundy. Mundy injects some pace and goes forward, but his pass is intercepted by Hume, who goes on a lambasting run. He's intercepted though by Smith, and Smith switches play expertly once again over to this near side. Lovely touch from Dias. Dias back inside to Lofthouse. Lofthouse loves scoring in this competition. He looked like he was shaping to shoot, or at least assess his options. In the end, he played it back to Dias. Dias to White. Mundy. Dias. It's gone back to Lassam, has it? Teddy Watson was there, and Olympic conspiring to be their own worst enemies here. Although they do eventually get the ball away from the attentions of Watson. That was really well done from Lassam. Really well done from Philippe Lassam. Lassam plays the ball wide towards Dias. It was just under hit, and that allows Dylan Barwick to take the ball upfield and try to play the ball in towards Broadfoot. It was intercepted by Waters though, a common theme. White goes in fairly hard there on Cody Walden. All's fair in love and war, as they say. White intercepts that ball intended for Walden. Gets it back from Lucas. The through ball was a bad one. Smith not willing to chase that. The 33-year-old over on that far side. He's going to have to chase now, though. And does give chase to Daniel Dragicevic, former Gold Coast Knight. He checks. Plays in Teddy Watson. Watson plays a ball across the face of goal to where Broadfoot was waiting. Olympic do clear. Here's here's Mundy. He goes back to Glover. Deus. Lofthouse has switched wings. He's on this side now, and he'll go up against Dylan Barwick. See how he fancies his chances now. Fancies them very well. Thank you very much. Although Barwick did recover well to only concede a goal kick. Lofthouse got the final touch. Looked for a moment that it might have been a corner, but good defending from Dylan Barwick. Just 19 years old. Apparently has some interest from the A-League. So we just got told by Alexander Rusu there will be one additional minute. Brice Broadfoot has gone down on his knees. Smith just got caught there by Hume in trying to play that ball forward towards Lofthouse. Lofthouse put some gas on there. He still couldn't keep the ball in. Dylan Barwick showing great composure beyond his years to shepherd that ball out. The two youngsters going at each other. It'll be good to see if they continue matching up against each other. Just Lofthouse having switched from the left-hand side to the right for the closing stages of this first half. The first half in which Olympic took the lead through. Shelford Deus working his miracle in limited space as Teddy Watson gave chase, but Brandon Kuminao picked it up, and then there were some quite incredible appeals from the Surfers Paradise Apollo players, perhaps forgetting that Brandon Kuminao is allowed to pick the ball up as goalkeeper. It can only be what they thought. He was fairly close to the edge of his penalty area, but certainly not close enough to get such an exuberant response from the players in midfield. Deus and White linking up again. White cutting back inside. He'll switch play over to the far side and Mundy. Lofthouse has wandered back over to the left, but it's White and Mundy who are linking up at the moment. Mundy with another glorious pass onto the chest of Deus, who controls so well. Lassam, he's been instrumental in this first half after copping some rough treatment. Deus, he got a goal in similar position here. Lucas from an acute angle. It can only be parried by Warren. It was a fierce shot. That'll be the last action in this first half. It was hammered clear by the defender off the line, but a quick snapshot from Chris Lucas could have sent Olympic into the break 2 goals to the good. But as it is, they'll just take a 1-0 lead, thanks to Shelford Deus, who worked with no room at all to get the opening goal and thread the needle really between the defender and the byline before slotting the ball past Tim Warren from a nothing angle. It was a very, very good finish from Shelford Deus. But other than that, Surfers Paradise Apollo have held firm in their defensive duties. Olympic in control for the majority of the match in terms of possession at least, and they do have the supremacy in the scoreboard as well. We're going to have a short break. Don't go anywhere though, plenty more football to come from the Gold Coast. Surfers Paradise Apollo 0, Olympic FC 1 at half-time.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebrations.
What's your reason? Join our team.
That's it. You can stand.
There is so much that I'm learning, like You know, coming in as a coach, you think that you know a lot, but it's like it just brought me back down to earth to let me feel like, wow, I'm just starting all over again.
You've got people with experience, obviously tried and tested protocols, different styles and methodologies. So there's a broad range of subjects which I think allow people to take something from the whole event. Whether that's a number of things or one thing, that's really all that counts.
I think the discussion and building the passion for it and the understanding that we're all contributing for the sole purpose that kids with a dream can go to the national team level and then perform at the level required to, to really represent our country as best as possible.
If everybody does the same things, if we are doing exactly the same things once and the others, and we are not trying different things and we are not picking things which are different to what we are used to do, if we don't go out of our comfort zone, we are not going to improve.
I'm a great believer in CPD is vital, and continuous professional development is the only way we learn, formally and informally. This is a formal set of talks, but the sort of talks in this area, which is like the coffee and breakout informals, are as important. And hopefully this stimulates coaches to think differently, realise they're on a journey, they don't have all the answers, but no one does.
They've shown over the last couple of days has really gave a refreshing aspect on the game, and I would really recommend to the people that couldn't make it for this weekend to look to the future and attend those seminars, because you're always learning something, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it.
My name's Casey Rybelt. I'm an Australian FIFA international referee. I've been a FIFA referee since 2014, and I'm about to participate in my first Women's World Cup. It's just an honour and a dream of mine. I think most players, coaches, referees, they dream of going to the World Cup. I've been just specifically for this World Cup, I've been in a program for just over 3 years, and that's involved lots and lots of I think we did like 16 video tests. We've done maybe 7 fitness tests. We've done at least 3 FIFA tournaments, like under 17s, under 20s. We've done around about 700 hours of training, and then practical training on top of that as well. I knew that it was just an opportunity, and they would always say to us it's an open list, and so that means people, unfortunately they could go and other people can come on, and it was very fluid in that way. So I knew that I had to keep performing well at every step, and that meant at under 20 World Cups, it meant at seminars. We went to like 5 seminars. Just every step I needed to make sure I was improving, and that was the only way I was going to stay there. Lots and lots of preparation has gone into it.
We've got the Girls events running across the state from the Gold Coast to as far north as Cairns, and we invite you to come along to give football a go. Whether you've played before or whether it's your first time, we encourage you to come along, have a go, enjoy the experience, and most importantly, have lots of fun. The events are all free of charge. All we require from you is for you to register prior to the event, and that can be done on Football Queensland's website. Yeah, the girls. Yeah, the girls. Yeah, the girls! No. Yeah, the girls.
My favourite part about playing football is that it's fun. Because it's fun and it improves your ability to do stuff. Because it's fun and you get to have fun and meet new people. It's just the game I play and it's a lovely sport and because it's fun and I'm playing with my friends.
I like to play football because it's a great experience to make new friends.
I like to play football because it's fun, you don't have to use your hands and it's really fun to play. Teamwork, passing and to never give up. All that matters is just have fun and do your best.
I would like to share all the entire community in Australia. Happy Ramadan. Why do I play football?
Why do we play football?
I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebrations.
What's your reason? Join our team.
Yeah. Every time I so I've had a very good 2 hours sleep, which is great.
God, I wish I could survive on 2 hours sleep again.
I am not. Okay, interesting. Well, I'll just chuck up the background and then you can do it.
Well, welcome back to the Gold Coast, where Surfers Paradise Apollo trail Olympic by a goal to nil in this FFA Cup Round 7 tie. 45 minutes remain until one of these two teams potentially has a date with an A-League side in the round of 32. The national round awaits. In 45 minutes we will find out who is the second of the Queensland qualifiers to make their way through the fairly arduous qualification process. Olympic have had a fairly easy time of it, it has to be said. They hammered Gympie United in the fourth qualification round 60-0 at Goodwin Park in their first match of the FFA Cup in 2019. They had a tricky tie away at Rochdale Rovers in the fifth qualification round, 4-0 the score there. And then they beat Palm Beach Sharks by 4-1 in the sixth qualification round to get here. Jez Lofthouse scored twice, and Alex Smith and Chris Lucas also got on the score sheet, but Jez Lofthouse won't be scoring here today. Lofthouse is being withdrawn at half-time. He is being replaced by Costa Saros. So it's worked hard in that first half, just couldn't quite get beyond that final man. He was being doggedly followed everywhere by Daniel Dragesevic, former Gold Coast Knight. Surfers Paradise have had an equally arduous turn, much more arduous you'd have to say in terms of how many matches they've had to play. So we're going to see a substitution as well for Surfers Paradise Apollo, and it'll be Calvin McCallion who is coming on, wearing a number 19 shirt. It's the hosts in the white shirts getting things underway, kicking from left to right as you see it. Simon Smell with you on the call of this FFA Cup Round 7 clash. And just running you through Surfers Paradise path to the Round 7. They beat Kingscliff District here, 6-1 in Round 2. Then in Round 3 they hammered Brisbane Knights by 9-1. They beat Sunshine Coast side Maroochydore Swans 6-1 in Round 4. Hat-trick for Teddy Watson in that match. And that's an early intervention from McCallion, doing well to make a nuisance of himself over on that far side of the field. Eventually Olympic get away with a goal kick, but good chasing and harrying over on the far side by the substitute. Saying the fifth round tie against Grange Thistle from the Brisbane Premier League saw a 5-1 victory for Surfers Paradise, and then the sixth round, that was a National Premier League's Queensland scalp. 3-1 the score. That was also here at Lexbell Oval, meaning that Surfers Paradise Apollo have played every single game of this FFA Cup here at home. And they've also conceded a goal in every single game as well. And that has continued. Olympic leading by a goal nil. Supporters are making themselves heard. That was a poor pass from Glover. High intensity start from Surfers Paradise Apollo, and here's McCallion over on that far side up against Waters. All chipped in by Buckingham. It's hammered clear by Lassam. Good intensity from Surfers Paradise Apollo. We didn't see this in the first half. Glover wasn't sure where that ended up under some close attention from Teddy Watson, but found itself, thankfully for Olympic, into the hands of Brandon Kumineo, and Kumineo will get the ball out towards brother James. He switches play over towards the far side of the field, and the goal scorer, Shelford Deas, who had no room to work with when bearing down on goal between himself and the bar line, but still managed to get through and then thread the needle between the post and Tim Warren to put the ball into the back of the net. Absolutely lovely. And how's that for a pass from Costa Saros? Dias with a deep cross. Shepherded by Dragesevic. Dragesevic chips forward towards Teddy Watson. Teddy Watson puts that one through towards McCallion, who has pace. So much pace, but Brandon Kuminao opted to go first time. Waters just played that ball around Buckingham, linking up well with Mundy. Had to be precise, that play out. And that's another precise ball from Alex Smith. Here's Saros. Saros was offside. And judging by some of the movements and reactions from the sideline in line with that decision, it might have been the wrong one. Hard to tell who is supporting who, though. His third spell at Olympic, Costa Saros. And how's that for a bit of skill? Absolutely left his marker for dead. That's an ambitious challenge from Nick Hume. Came sliding from a long way. Angered the Olympic bench, but the play was allowed to continue. And Hume's sent flying by Steve White. It is a free kick to Surfers Paradise Apollo. Alex Morrison's continuing his one-man monologue about the refereeing decisions. It's chipped in, flags up over back's post. McCallion was arriving. Alex Morrison was unhappy with the call, but Total Tools' assistant on this near side was in an ideal position. Can't have been far away, and Calvin McCallion doesn't really need to get in advance of his defender. He's so quick from what we've seen in these opening few minutes of the second half. A real threat for Surfers Paradise Apollo as that ball was firmly met by Lucas Lefebvre. Here's Alex Smith. Closed down by Rodriguez. Smith threads the needle to Lucas. Played out towards Deus. Deus towards Smith. Just enough of a touch from Bruno Rodriguez. It is a throw-in to Olympic. Been complimented on my headwear from the Olympic bench, who are just a stone's throw away from me here. That's a decent-looking cross. Alex Smith! He jumped highest and couldn't quite get onto the end of it with enough pace or direction to put that ball the right side of the post. Olympic close to doubling their advantage here. Quick goal kick taken by Warren. It was Barwick who linked up well there with Buckingham. And Buckingham's hugely ambitious pass is played precisely to no one except for the Lego figure sporting the Olympic gear. So even had he seen a figure, albeit a yellow one, it was still the wrong colour shirt. Oh, Watson's managed to steal possession here. Ambitious effort from Watson onto the crossbar. Well, Watson managed to get the better of Kuminao, who felt that he might have had his eye poked inadvertently, I think, by Watson. He spotted Brandon Kuminao off his line and went for the absolutely remarkable chip. I think Kuminao would have been more than relieved to see that one bounce on top of the crossbar and away. Close to the equaliser here. There's life in this match yet. Surfers Paradise Apollo looking for their second appearance in the round of 32 after they reached that lofty goal in 2016. That was when the regions were still split, so Surfers Paradise didn't have to play any teams from Brisbane. On that path, they beat Knights 4-0, Magic United 4-2, Palm Beach 1-0. Then South West Queensland Thunder 5-3 and Sunshine Coast 2-0 before meeting Canberra Olympic in the round of 62 at Deakin Stadium. Over 1,000 there to see the eventual semi-finalists win through by 1-0. Here's Saros from Brisbane Olympic. Kuminao has been closed down quickly by Watson. His cross is dealt with by the Surfers Paradise Apollo defence, and they take the ball out quickly. I think Watson would have been offside had that ball managed to find its way through to him, but now all of a sudden it's Olympic giving the ball away quickly. Rodriguez turned himself into some space, and Apollo will launch this ball upfield towards the substitute. McCallion, Teddy Watson. McCallion has got pace, we saw that, and that space did look inviting just in behind the defence there, but unfortunately for the home side and the home supporters, Watson's pass was a little bit heavy. Smith snuffed out there by Barwick, interrupting his forward progress. Deus attempting to interrupt the forward progress of Apollo now, but not doing so successfully. Instead, Deus picks up possession, and that was a body check from Hume. Free kick to Olympic. Some consternation from the Surfers Paradise Apollo players, arguing that call. Dangerous position for Olympic to have a free kick in. Glover's gone very, very wide. Is he going to attempt a very long run? So has Kristen Waters. Flag goes up. I think Mundy was offside. Mundy can't believe it. The free kick will be taken by Warren. Smith goes down. Was it a head clash with Nick Hume? Play on is for call. Smith says he's okay to continue and gets up to his feet. Saros twisting and turning his way past Rodriguez. Now White. White may go back to Kumineo. I don't think it was intended for Kumineo. I think it was intended for Psaros. But Psaros is there to take the ball around Dragovic and get to the byline. Saros. Lucas! It's deflected on its way through. Lucas was sliding when he hit the shot. Had he been of surer foot, maybe we'll be talking about Olympic's second goal. Instead, Apollo survive. And they may counter here over on the far side of the field. Walden unable to get past Christian Waters, though. It'll be a throw into Olympic. Just glimpses, flashes of fast play here at Sid Big Park. Lexbell Oval, apologies. Sid Big Park is where Surfers Paradise Apollo are on Tuesday night when they take on Mudgeeraba in the Gold Coast Premier League. Olympic have a little bit more rest. They take on Redlands United at the Cleveland Showgrounds on Friday. So National Premier League Queensland gets back underway after a little break today, although there are a couple of catch-up games taking place later on. Of course, there is another FFA Cup game as well taking place today. Two other FFA Cup games. So that free kick is headed away. Headed back in by Mundy. White's there. Glover with an ambitious attempt. Smith saw that deflected away. All of a sudden, Olympic have got the foot on the gas all of a sudden, and the pressure is mounting on this Surfers Paradise Apollo defence. Saros chips it in towards White, who's stayed up. So it's Waters, who stayed up, and Waters gave away a free kick. It looked soft, it has to be said, and Christian Waters is complaining thus towards our Total Tours referee, Ola Glabuz. All sorts of hands being involved there between Teddy Watson and James Kuminao. Play will continue though with Calvin McCallion. McCallion to Teddy Watson. It's a good save by Kuminao. Still there for Surfers Paradise Apollo, is it? Are they not offside? They have to be offside, aren't they? No, free kick is given. Come on, boys! Not quite sure how Teddy Watson can't have been offside then. It looked like he was standing next to Brandon Kumineo when the ball came back in. End-to-end stuff in this second half, and just shows how precarious a 1-0 lead can be for Olympic. Have failed to keep a clean sheet, at least their last 5 matches, Olympic. Conceding against South West Queensland Thunder last week, Palm Beach in the last round of the FFA Cup, Magpies Crusaders up there in Mackay, an 8-1 victory albeit. Gold Coast Knights, that was 3-3 that game. Here's pace for McCallion. And Glover had to be on his top of his game there to snuff that challenge out. White. Didn't look like there was much contact between Rodriguez and White from this angle. We had an ideal spot for it, but I could be wrong. Don't need to have much contact. The boots as paper thin as they are. Kuminao gets things underway towards Glover. Glover goes wide to Waters. Waters finds Dias over on that far side. And Dias is going to be forced to chase back now because Cody Walden has stolen the ball. Buckingham! Olympic have switched off here. The Surfers Paradise Apollo have sensed their opportunity. Alex Morrison geeing up his troops from the sideline away to our right. Concerned bench away to my left where Olympic look nervous. Ben Khan in a Korean airport, I imagine, will be tearing his hair out. He won't mind me saying he's not the calmest watcher of football matches involving his teams. Ben Khan. It must be even more frustrating being overseas watching a match and having absolutely zero way to implement any change. Speaking of change, it does look like UL Scholl is getting himself warmed up, so we might see a return to action for the big former East striker. Excellent work from Lucas to get up above Lefebvre, and he's continuing to battle against the number 13 from Surfers Paradise Apollo, who concedes a throw-in rather than continue to allow Lucas to buzz around him. Excellent work from Chris Lucas there. Olympic opting to keep possession and go all the way back to Glover. Glover plays that ball ahead of James Kuminao. Kuminao has space to run into, but not many options ahead of him. Smith makes a belated run. It might fall for Smith. It was a poor defensive piece of work from Dylan Barwick, I think, over on that far side of the box. Heavy touch, and it could have been costly. Dragesevic up against Glover. Glover has hands on Dragesevic. He takes them off wisely as Dragesevic makes his way into the penalty area. Dragesevic cuts back, plays the ball inside towards Teddy Watson. Teddy Watson! Straight into the chest of Brandon Kuminao, but Surfers Paradise Apollo are really gaining a foothold in this match, and the National Premier League's Queensland side wanted to get themselves back into the game. That second goal starting to look all important in this match. Which way will it go? Lucas with an ambitious chip. It was off target, and it earns a fair few Bronx cheers as well from the Surfers Paradise active support over on the hill, diagonally across from us to the side of the clubhouse. There's a fairly healthy crowd in, considering this game is live streamed and the weather was not looking favourable. We have escaped any rain thus far. Hoping we're not going to jinx ourselves there. Mundy got every single piece of that, but it's just gone straight up in the air. Mundy's taking it upon himself now. Oh, a little bit of push and shove now. We'll have to keep our eyes on this. Red card! Is that a red card for Cody Walden? Mundy is furious about something. He needs to be careful here. Assistants are running over from this near side. Walden certainly got shown a second yellow card and he's off. He was sent flying to the deck. And let's see what the wash-up is here. We saw a red card last night. Gold Coast Knights having Jared Carl sent off. And we'll just have to see what the referee does here. We'll hear what the instructions are in our position here. Now I've heard there, Olympic are playing two at the top. There's a fair amount of consultation going on, and there's a circle of Surfers Paradise Apollo's players around the assistants. just wanting to make sure they get the right numbers, I think. Alex Morrison saying that every single decision has gone in favour of Olympic so far. Remember, it wasn't a straight red card for Cody Waldron, it was a second yellow. The push was from Deus, and he is shown a yellow card, goal scorer. And that is all the action we're going to see, and I think Alex Morrison is pretty upset by that fact. He was saying that perhaps if you're going to have one red card, you should have seen two, but it wasn't a red card in itself from Cody Waldron. It was for a second yellow, and we haven't really touched upon this in the first half. You have to say, Waldron was incredibly lucky to stay on the field in the first half after that lunging tackle, managed to catch the ankle of Philippe Lassam. Got a long talking to then, and the referee, Oleg Labuz, clearly has had enough. So the task has got ever more difficult for Surfers Paradise Apollo. They trail by a goal and by a man. Saros gets his skates on. It needed to be dealt with by Dragesevic, and Dragesevic does well. It's a good pass from Kumineo. Got confirmation that it was Shelford Deus who got the yellow card. Saros with the control. Saros with no space to work in. Is reminiscent of Olympics' first goal here. This time Surfers Paradise managed to snuff out the danger, and Bruno Rodriguez hammers that ball into the foot of Chris Lucas, or it might have been the thigh. The ball is out for a goal kick. Mundy making nuisance of himself with Teddy Watson. Didn't get a touch on the ball though. Olympic ball. Mundy waits and delivers the ball to James Kumineo. Kumineo will look forward and find Alex Smith. Smith gets up ahead of Bruno Rodriguez. Mundy, lovely pass from Mundy to White. It's opening up here for White. Now Deus. Deus with the shot. It's a good save by Warren. Corner kick to Olympic. Just noticed that Giles Lofthouse has some ice on his hamstring. Hopefully it's not an injury. There you go. Rumours are starting, flying from the Olympic dugout. Corner swept in. It was Kumineo who got his head onto the ball. Here's Christian Waters. Alex Smith has been harried by Buckingham. Smith manages to find that Mundy, and it was a good save in the end. Again from Tim Warren, who's been resolute since conceding that first goal. Judging by Jez Lofthouse's cheerful demeanour, I imagine it's only a minor little tweak, and he'll be fine for Friday night's trip to Redlands. Saros. Saros does brilliantly, cuts inside 1, 2, 3 defenders for shot cannoned off the fourth. Lassam. Saros again. Deus now. Deus at the second opportunity. There's no Olympic players over on the far side of the field. Have a second substitution of the day for Surfers Paradise Apollo. It'll be Brandon Gomez who's coming on. He's been with the club 9 years. Former Black Line junior. Nick Hume has come off. He scored the winner last week, a late winner, Nick Hume. He won't be doing so today. That's his night done. He's worked hard at the back. Early touch for the substitute Gomez, and that was a little bit naughty from Teddy Watson late. Just caught James Kumineo. Kumineo is still down right in front of us. He's pretty upset with the decision, and Teddy Watson the Olympic bench are asking whether any of the officials saw the incident. Once again, Alexander Rusu getting a little bit of advice from the Olympic bench, asking why the physio was called on if James Kumineo didn't need him. James Kumineo is all right to continue. It did look like Teddy Watson just had a little nibble at James Kumineo there. Has been some niggle in this game. We are not 11 versus 11 as things stand. Surfers Paradise Apollo have had a man sent off, Cody Waldron, for a second yellow card, and it sparks a little bit of a melee as Lucas gets his skates on over on that far side. Oh, Lucas with the foul in stealing the ball back. Olympic wanted to take Surfers Paradise Apollo wanted to take things quickly, and they were unable to do so. Referee wasn't ready, and the ball was not where the free kick had been being given. It was all very handsy over there. Teddy Watson again involved. He's on the ball now. Watson will be wanting to be closer towards the centre of the field in the penalty area, but that's where he makes his way now. He was being closed down by two Olympic defenders, and he's found it hard to shake off his shadow, which is the large figure of Christian Waters. We're going to see a long throw, I think, from Bruno Rodriguez. Great distance on that throw. It's flicked on. It's into the back post, is it? It's a substitute. Brandon Gomez has only been on a couple of minutes, and he's pulled the 10 men of Surfers Paradise Apollo back level on terms with Olympic. It's Surfers Paradise Apollo 1, Olympic 1. The long throw from Bruno Rodriguez, all sorts of problems, and Brandon Gomez in at the back post. Olympic have switched off, it has to be said. The 10 men of Surfers Paradise Apollo. Can we see a shock here at Lex Bell Oval? Nameless ball played forward is hammered clear, and now Bruno Rodriguez is letting his feet do the talking after that wonderful throw led to the equalising goal. All of a sudden it's the 10 men wearing white shirts who look like they have the ascendancy. So much space at the back post for Brandon Gomez in scoring that goal. It's a real miss for Olympic, that. National Premier League Queensland side are going to have to get themselves back in the ascendancy in this game. Here's White. What can he do? Finds Saros. Saros might want to chip this ball over towards Deus. Deus will, if not for the intervention of Barwick, who has been excellent on that left-hand side of the defence. That ball was destined to come back inside towards Alex Smith. Instead, it's Surfers Paradise Apollo who are on the attack. Watson linking up play now with Daniel Dragesovic. Dragesovic cutting back inside. He has Gomez ahead of him. McCallion checked his run. Gomez it is. The two substitutes almost getting each other's way. Instead, it is Gomez, the goal scorer, who wins a corner for Surfers Paradise Apollo. We saw the chaos caused by one set piece thrown into the penalty area. What will happen here from this delivery, from this near side? See Daniel Dragesovic stretching out his hamstrings. Gold Coast Premier League winner with Gold Coast Knights last season, 30-year-old. Only played 5 games this season after moving from Gold Coast Knights, having felt hard done by the lack of first-team opportunities he was getting. That corner was incredibly deep and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Do have a good home record, Surfers Paradise Apollo, in 2019. In all competitions, it's 11 games played, 10 wins and 1 defeat. That defeat coming all the way back in April against Burleigh Bulldogs, who just happened to be leading the league in the Gold Coast Premier League by 2 points from Surfers Paradise Apollo. And has to be a free kick, doesn't it? Bruno Rodriguez climbing all over the top of Alex Smith. That is how Oleg Labuz saw it as well. Oleg Labuz being a stickler for taking the free kick in the right position. Well, he let that one go there. A couple of metres being stolen by Olympic. Smith almost got that one under control. It was an awkward one to deal with. And again, Surfers Paradise Apollo will break. And here's pace being shown by Teddy Watson. Not fast enough to beat Brandon Kumineo, though. Rodriguez goes back, wants the ball back inside, won't get it. Watson, ball was out. Changing their shape slightly, Olympic. Identified the weakness being this right-hand side of the Surfers Paradise Apollo defence, perhaps due to the stretching of the hamstrings just being seen there by Daniel Dragesevic. Mundy's going to have to slot in front of the defence now, and James Kumineo will look to get forward a little bit more readily. He goes back to his centre-back, Jack Glover, on that occasion, and now has possession once again. Saros wanted the pass played. It wasn't. Here's Lassam, who after an energetic first half has faded slightly in this second upon his return to Surfers Paradise Apollo. Smith, dispossessed by Alex Smith. Don't often see that. He wins the ball back though. Lassam, racing towards the edge of the penalty area, tries to thread the needles, unable to do so. Barwick got the defensive block in. Dragesevic tried to leap and did do just enough to get the ball past Saros. Kumineo in that more advanced position, goes back towards Mundy. Mundy just shadowing and blocking at the back, just as we were told a few moments ago by the Olympic bench. Excellent positioning here on the sidelines, right in the heart of the action. Here is Mundy. Mundy, Lucas, back to Saros. Saros wanting to shape to shoot. He does win a free kick. Did look like Buckingham managed to clip the feet of Saros, and this is an incredibly dangerous position and the sort of position that Alex Smith dreams about. He'll have been licking his lips over that and has not invited any advice from any of his teammates. There's only one place this ball's going. Surfers Paradise Apollo 1. The 10 men of Surfers Paradise Apollo 1. Olympic 1. Alex Smith with a golden opportunity here. He's so dangerous in these positions. He's been made to wait. 5-man wall. Smith! Straight into that 5-man wall. White goes wide to Lassam. Still there for Olympic. Lassam towards the back post. It was headed away well by the Gold Coast Premier League side's defence. Saros switching play. It's lost in the lights there by Shelford Deas. White gets there ahead of Teddy Watson. There were calls of a foul from the Paradise Apollo bench. Certainly nothing doing. It was a strong defensive header. That was a strong clearing kick from Tim Warren. Daniel Dragesevic is absolutely struggling here. He is limping around on this near side, and Surfers Paradise Apollo are already playing 10. You do wonder how much they're going to be able to manage if they're having to carry a passenger to make it 9. That was a little bit ugly from Lucas, and it will be a free kick in favour of the home side. The right decision, you'd think, from this angle at least. Free kick taken quickly by Lefebvre. Too quickly, it's headed back towards his goalkeeper by Matt Mundy, and Mundy has ball back at his feet now. Deus, closed down quickly by McCallion, who was bright when he first came on, has faded slightly. Glover wants the ball wide to Kumineo. Kumineo takes a deflection off the substitute, Gomez. Alex Smith wins a corner for his side. Olympic bench all standing to attention now. Down to our left. You can feel the nerves permeating from the Olympic bench. Corner swept in. Other was there. It was headed off his noggin. And that's a lovely flick by Watson. Gomez challenged. It will be an Olympic throw. Olympic build again. A repetitive pattern. They'll take this left-hand side. White to Kumineo. Staros has made a little darting run. Staros picks up the ball. First time cross. Lucas! Didn't get hold of that one at all, and Lucas's goal-scoring boots have deserted him this evening. He's had a couple of air swings. Or at least swings that have gone not towards their intended direction. Warren sprays this one near side. Lovely little flick by Gomez, but there was nowhere there to capitalise. Smith with a lovely pass towards Lucas. Lucas 1-on-1 with the keeper. That's the scoring goal for Olympic. 2-1 to the National Premier League's Queensland side. And all it took was a pass from Alex Smith and the finish from Chris Lucas. Olympic 2, Surfers Paradise Apollo 1. Chris Lucas's 25th goal of the season. Jez Lofthouse proclaiming him to be the best player in the league. To my left. He's certainly proving that right now, but he couldn't have done it without Alex Smith, the 33-year-old former Oakley Cannon, FC Dallas. He's been around the traps, but he played a delightful ball there just to release Chris Lucas, and then the two of them were involved there to just deflect that ball away, but weren't quite on song to get the ball back, and Rodriguez plays it forward. Oh, it's fallen very kindly for the substitute. McCallion has another go at it. All right, you're most at risk just after you've scored a goal, and Olympic are proving that to be the case here. Apollo wanted to take the corner kick quickly, and Brandon Gomez was waiting. Instead, it's swept in by Buckingham towards the back post. Lefebvre was there. It is a goal kick, much to Alex Morrison's disgust. They've had to work hard for this Olympics so far. They led 1-0 at the break, but in the final 10 minutes of this match, and that was another wayward pass. Surfers Paradise have been so much better in this second half, but it looks like it'll be Olympic making the round of 32 for the third year as things stand. Still plenty to come though in this match. Mundy leaps high. Buckingham took the ball off the foot of his own captain there. Watson's chasing. Watson continues to chase, but Kumineo clears only as far as Gomez, who scored the equalising goal for Surfers Paradise Apollo midway through this second half. Buckingham can't get to his feet, and Kumineo showing great composure to get the ball to Costa. Oh, threads the needle, but it's picked off really, really well by that goal scorer again, Brandon Gomez. Goal kick, excellent defensive work from Jack Glover. We'll see the final roll of the dice from Alex Morrison. Zach Kalinikos. He's quick, we're told, from the Olympic bench. Costa Pizarros is told, and that's the notes that I have as well. He's scored 2 goals in the league, 2 goals in the cup so far this season, Zach Kalinikos. First time Surfers Paradise Apollo have conceded 2 goals in the FFA Cup this season. Brandon Kuminau taking every single second that he feels he can, and that ball's coming straight to us, although Saros keeps it in favour of his opponents. That's the pace from Dragicevic, who did look hobbled and then couldn't continue his run, and perhaps it is that slight injury that he was struggling with. It was a poor clearance from Brandon Kuminau, and he almost paid what could have been a very hefty price for it. He holds his hand up, either as a signal or an acknowledgement of his culpability in that incident. Time is running out. There is some battle going on there between Brandon Gomez and Matt Mundy. Hands all over each other, and it was certainly 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Kalinikos does show that pace over a very short distance, plays the ball back inside towards McCallion. Olympic will clear. Chris Lucas. Sorry, it's not Chris Lucas, it's Steve White. Steve White gave the ball away. Watson. It's deflected, and it might fall for Olympic here, and Dias is going to play that ball forward towards Chris Lucas. Chris Lucas is going to do battle, and he loses out on this occasion. Excellent defence from Surfers Paradise Apollo. They'll come again through Dragicevic. Dragicevic chips that one over the top towards Gomez. Gomez has space to pick across. He picks across! And Teddy Watson flew at the ball and has injured himself in the process. He looks like he's in a fair bit of bother, actually. He couldn't direct the ball on target. And Steve White has gone to ground. Steve White has actually scored 3 goals in his last 2 league games. Steve White needing a little bit of attention. What looks like a groin that he's feeling at there, and well, there's no better player really to come on than Kazuya Ito. Vital player for so long in this Olympic side. He's been here forever, since the birth of the National Premier League Queensland back in 2013. Might be a double substitution actually, because looks like UL Scholl is coming on as well. Mundy's getting some instructions. It will be a double substitution. The instruction is that Olympic are playing into Surfers Paradise Apollo's hands. That's the instruction towards Jack Glover and Matt Mundy at the moment. They need to start controlling the ball a little bit more, is what we're being told. And Steve White doesn't look too happy at all. He's limping off. 4-3-3 will be the formation, so we're told. Steve White, hopefully that injury's not too serious. Looks very ginger as he's walking off, but UL Scholl is on the field, and UL Scholl is some player. Football Queensland Premier League Player of the Year last year, along with Ryo Ono. Ball is launched forward towards Scholl. Smith got the header. Excellent tackle from Lassam. Smith wide towards Lucas. Olympic can be so dangerous on the counter-attack. Smith wants it inside. Has to check back. Smith checks, gets past one challenge, gets past a second, rides that challenge from Rodriguez. Is there advantage being played? Yes, there is, and referees come back. Much to the frustration of the Surfers Paradise Apollo bench, but it was certainly a foul from Bruno Rodriguez. He came flying in on Alex Smith, and Smith didn't have his radar quite attuned for that first free kick. He may well for the second. Surfers Paradise Apollo appealing with the fourth official as to what the rule is when it comes to advantage. Our Total Tools referee Ola Gabuz adjudged there not to be enough advantage being played, and Alex Smith is going to have an opportunity here. Smith! So close! Possibly looked closer than it was from this angle. But we know he can score from there. Foul against the home side, and there is much fury coming from the home supporters about that. So Steve White is sporting a bit of a black eye as well. It has been a physical contest, as well as that groin injury. He looks in fine spirits on the bench though, perhaps buoyed by the fact that he may well be booking his flights to somewhere else in the country. Dias gets round the outside of his man. Oh, there's no space at all again for Shelford Dias, and he tried to thread the ball through towards Lucas, but played it behind him. On Philippe Lassam wants the return ball from Saros. He gets it back, cuts back inside, tries to thread the ball through towards Dias, doesn't get there, and Surfers Paradise Apollo will look to break. Smith and Olympic are just hounding their opponents here. Here's Alex Smith. Delicate cross towards Scholl! Oh, it's not even on target. Leapt so high, did UL Scholl. That is the end of the 90. Alex Morrison just suggesting that Olympic should be getting the ball. Of course, they're under no obligation to, leading in a knockout tie 2-1 away from home. That was a late challenge on Saros. It will be a free kick. Daniel Dragesevic, the man who went down. Taken quickly by Bruno Rodriguez. Space for Gomez to pick his spot. He can only find Mundy, and Mundy hammers that ball upfield. It won't go out though. Here's Dragesevic. UL Scholl does absolutely superbly to close that ball down. He's a huge body to get the ball past when he's being closed down like that. He's UL Scholl. Rodriguez plays the ball forward. Rodriguez wants it back. Instead, it's at the feet of Teddy Watson. Watson with the cross towards the back post, and a leaping Brandon Kumineo makes the catch. UL Scholl with the touch off the pass from Brandon Kumineo out of the hand. Back inside to Lassam. Lassam over towards Saros. Saros wanted to let the ball do the work. Instead, Dragesevic gets there first. Here's Teddy Watson. What can he conjure in these dying moments? He's been closed down. Instead, it's a lovely pass inside to Dragesevic. Glover to Alex Smith. Alex Smith is going to thread the needle. Jean-Philippe Lassam is limping. Will be replaced, I think. Jean-Philippe Lassam is severely hampered by what looks like an injury. Further does well to nip in there, tries to thread the needle. Lassam on one leg, still manages to make the challenge. He's in all sorts of trouble now, holding onto that hamstring. Olympic need to get the ball out here. Instead, it's Lucas who's going to be playing the ball forward towards UL Scholl. UL Scholl loping forward, heavily strapped left knee. UL Scholl, a turn of pace to get past his marker. Gomez does well just to use his body and get that body in the way, but the ball is still in play, and Philippe Lassam is struggling massively. It's played around him by Lefebvre. Lefebvre slips though, and it's hammered upfield by James Kumineo. And eventually, Philippe Lassam does succumb to his injury, much to the frustration of the Surfers Paradise Apollo bench. And I can see he's been limping for quite some time. It may be a bit of... May well be a little bit of cramp or something in that left hamstring. Well, now the right leg is being stretched by Alex Smith. Rain is just starting to fall here. Which will make extra time interesting if Surfers Paradise Apollo can get a goal. I'm just going to retreat underneath the Olympic bench. Substitution will be made, and it was Kazuya Ito who will come on. Such a long-time servant of the club, the 31-year-old Japanese player. He'll slot in the defence, and Philippe Lassam, he's endured some rough treatment so far. Shakes his head when directed towards the Surfers Paradise Apollo bench. That's been a fine innings from Philippe Lassam. And he is struggling his way off the field. He knows he's been in a contest today. And he'll need a fair amount of treatment, you would expect. The rain is starting to come down. Surfers Paradise Apollo, though, with Kalinikos. Kalinikos twisting and turning, gets past one, goes to ground, no foul, says the referee, and the Surfers Paradise Apollo players are furious. But here comes Chris Lucas, and he breezes past Bruno Rodriguez. Lucas releases Alex Smith. Danger here for Surfers Paradise Apollo. This could finish it. Lovely covering tackle from Dragesevic, I think, and now go to the corner is the call from the Olympic bench. Costa Passaros taking it to the corner, and he's being shadowed by his opposite number, Daniel Dragesevic, at the cost of a goal kick. We are in the dying seconds of this match, and that's a poor effort. James Kumineo launches that ball forward towards Smith. Smith leaps and directs it towards the corner. That was always his intention. Helped upfield towards Dragesevic. Dragesevic gets a little bit of a nudge from Alex Smith. That's all we're going to see. Olympic are heading to the round of 32. It was a hard-fought battle. They know they've been in a game, this Olympic side. And Surfers Paradise Apollo, the team second in the Gold Coast Premier League, have given a majorly good account of themselves. They have battled and harassed and harried, and let's remember, they've done so with 10 men for the majority of the second half after Cody Walden was shown a second yellow card. The home supporters will be disappointed, but that was a fantastic performance from the hosts. But nevertheless, Olympic FC, for the third time in their history, will be heading to the national rounds of the FFA Cup, joining their teams from 2014 and 2018 in the history books. They'll be hoping to do one better than last year when they drew a team from just down the road in the National Premier League's Queensland. They'll be hoping for either the opportunity to host an A-League side or maybe even travel away to one as well. It'll be no difference and no stranger thing to Alex Smith, or indeed Matt Mundy, who've been there and done that in terms of international and state travel with their A-League careers. But that's been a fine performance from Olympic FC. They had to fight, they had to dig very, very deep, but goals from Shelford Dias and Chris Lucas in each half managed to cancel out the equaliser from Brandon Gomez, the substitute who came on and made such an impact for Olympic, for Surfers Paradise Apollo. Philippe Lassam got some rough treatment on his return as Olympic celebrate with their supporters, who have been making plenty of noise all match. But we'll wrap things up here. Don't forget, there is another FFA Cup game coming right up for you shortly. Coomera Colts taking on Logan Lightning at Viney Park. That game kicks off at 7 o'clock. And then, of course, if you're in the north of the state, Brothers Townsville are taking on Magpies Crusaders at High Vista Park in Mount Louisa. That's near the airport out there in Townsville. If you're up and around there, head on down and check that one out, because Magpies Crusaders haven't been in the best form of late. They do need a victory to get themselves through and perhaps rescue their season, in which they are under serious threat of relegation from the National Premier League's Queensland. We'll wrap things up here. It's been a fantastic night on the Gold Coast. The glitter strip is glittering nicely now the sun has gone down. The rain is coming down though, so we are going to disappear pretty quickly. But Olympic have prevailed after a battling contest with Surfers Paradise Apollo. They have won through to the third round, to the round of 32, for the second straight year and the third time in their history. Olympic winning by 2-1. Best of luck to the Matildas tomorrow night in their Women's World Cup match. And we will join you on the next live stream for Football Queensland. Simon Smale signing off from the Gold Coast. Have a good evening.